If Virginia is for lovers, then Fort Lauderdale is for boaters. Well, like boat lovers, pun intended. If you're a boater and you're thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale, this city is basically your playground. They don't call it the yachting capital of the world for nothing. We're talking 300 plus miles of inland waterways, direct ocean access, no fixed bridges in certain areas, deep water canals, mega yacht docks, sandbars, waterfront restaurants you can pull up to. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff here. But here's the thing, not all waterfront is created equal. Some neighborhoods have fixed bridges that limit boat height, some have long idle zones before you hit the intercoastal, some have shallow canals that won't work for bigger vessels. So today, I'm breaking down the best Fort Lauderdale neighborhoods for boaters, depending on your boat size, your budget, and your lifestyle. Plus, what to really look out for when finding your perfect waterfront home. Make sure you stay until the end, where we will cover the biggest downfall in owning a waterfront home. And I think that you'll be surprised at how expensive this can get. So let's get into it. Alright, first up, let's talk about neighborhoods. Las Olas Isles. If you want prestige, walkability, and serious boating access, Las Olas Isles is hard to beat. The neighborhood just sits off Las Olas Boulevard and feeds directly into the intercoastal waterway. Many properties here offer deep water, wide canals, and no fixed bridges. That no fixed bridges part is everything. It means sailboats, sport fish, yachts, and larger vessels can head straight to the ocean without any clearance issues. You're also minutes from Port Everglades Inlet, which means quick access to the open water. Price-wise, this is luxury territory, but you're paying for proximity to the beach, to restaurants, to downtown, and top-tier dockage. If you want to walk to dinner or boat out in the morning, Las Olas Isles is definitely prime. Next up, let's talk about Rio Vista. Rio Vista is one of Fort Lauderdale's most historic and prestigious neighborhoods. It sits just south of Las Olas and it offers excellent boating access with many no fixed bridge properties. There are plenty of mature trees, estate-type homes, and larger waterfront lots compared to some of the tighter canal neighborhoods. Boat-wise, you're very close to the intercoastal and Port Everglades Inlet. That quick access to the ocean is huge for someone who runs offshore often. Rio Vista gives you a slightly quieter, more residential feel than Las Olas Isles, but still elite boating access. Alright, next up we're going to talk about Coral Ridge. Coral Ridge is a favorite for boaters who want strong access, but maybe a little bit more value-oriented compared to Las Olas, but don't get me wrong, definitely very prestigious and definitely high ticket. It's located just north of Sunrise Boulevard and offers a mix of fixed and no fixed bridge properties. This is where you really need to pay attention to bridge heights. Some sections are perfect for small center consoles, others accommodate larger yachts. One of the big perks here is the proximity to the beach and Coral Ridge Yacht Club. For many buyers, Coral Ridge hits the sweet spot in terms of price, location, and docket. Alright, next up we're going to talk about Lauderdale Harbors. If quick ocean access is a priority, Lauderdale Harbors is a standout. This neighborhood sits right near Port Everglades, which means you can be in the Atlantic in just minutes. It's known for deep water canals and no fixed bridges, making it ideal for larger boats. A lot of serious boaters love this area because of how efficient it is to get offshore. Less idle time, less navigating through narrow canals. It's more residential and less walkable than Las Olas, but it's pure boating functionality and it's excellent. Alright, let's talk about Citrus Isles. And this one is important. Citrus Isles is located near I-95 along the New River and has become increasingly popular with boaters who want value compared to beachside neighborhoods. Here's what makes Citrus Isles interesting. Many properties sit on deep water with no fixed bridges, offering ocean access via the New River. That means that you can run east towards downtown and out the intercoastal and Port Everglades. However, and this is important, you do have a longer idle time compared to neighborhoods directly on the intercoastal. So you'll navigate parts of the river before reaching open water. For some boaters, that's a downside. For others, it's peaceful and scenic. What buyers love about Citrus Isle is the lot size, pricing relative to Las Olas or Rio Vista. You often get more house for the money while still maintaining a legitimate boating capacity and enjoyability. It's definitely much more residential and less tourist driven, and it has a true neighborhood feel. If you're a mid-sized boat owner and you want waterfront living without paying ultra luxury pricing, Citrus Isles deserves a serious consideration. Let's move north to Bermuda Riviera. This is a smaller waterfront community east of US 1 near the beach. Boating access here varies depending on the property, but many homes have no fixed bridges and solid canal depth. What makes Bermuda Riviera appealing is that you're tucked into a quiet pocket but still close to Lauderdale by the sea. For buyers who want waterfront but don't need the mega yacht dockage, this can be a strong option. Alright, so let's talk about Harbor Beach. If Las Olas is luxury, Harbor Beach is ultra luxury. This is a gated community with private beach access, large waterfront estates, and deep water dockage. Many properties here can accommodate substantial yachts, and because it's so close to the inlet, ocean access is extremely convenient. Privacy is a major draw here. This is where you can find some of the most exclusive boating real estate in the city. If budget allows and you want security, privacy, and prime dockage, Harbor Beach is definitely a top pick. Alright, next up we're going to talk about the Landings. The Landings is located north of Commercial Boulevard and is known for wide canals and good dockage. It's popular with boaters because many homes offer solid water access and lot sizes are generous. The neighborhood tends to be quieter and more suburban as compared to Las Olas Isles, but if you want space, dockage, and a little bit less of a tourist energy, the Landings is definitely worth looking at. If big boats aren't your thing, you definitely want to hear about our next area. So I also want to mention Wilton Manors. Even though Wilton Manors isn't technically in Fort Lauderdale, it's definitely notable. Wilton Manors is famous for lifestyle and walkability, especially near Wilton Drive. There are waterfront properties here along the Middle River. Some offer boat access, but you'll need to evaluate fixed bridges carefully. They're great for smaller boats, kayaks, and gives you this vibrant neighborhood feel that can really work. For larger vessels, you may run into clearance challenges, so it's not really appropriate for that. So this becomes more of a size-dependent type of situation. But for smaller craft, it works perfectly if you just want to get on the water again with a small boat or a kayak. Alright, so let's zoom out and talk about what really matters when choosing a boating neighborhood. Number one, fixed bridges. You need to know about your boat's height, from waterline to the highest fixed point. Bridge clearance will determine everything. If you don't plan properly, this can become a huge issue. Number two is canal depth. Not all canals are dredged equally. Larger vessels need deep water, especially during low tide. Number three is distance to the intercoastal and the inlet. Idle time matters. If you're navigating 25 minutes through canals before hitting the open water, that changes your boating experience. Number four, dock length and seawall condition. Replacing a seawall can be expensive. Upgrading dockage can be expensive. These are major cost factors buyers often overlook. And number five, flood zone and elevation. Waterfront living is incredible and enjoyable, but you need to understand flood insurance and elevation certificates. Smart boaters are smart buyers. So now let's talk about a couple of key lifestyle differences and review all the neighborhoods that we talked about. If you want walkability and restaurants, definitely Las Olas Isles is a solid pick. If you want prestige and an estate feel, Rio Vista or Harbor Beach are great. If you want strong value with great dockage, Coral Ridge or Citrus Isles are a solid pick. If you want to get offshore fast, Lauderdale Harbors. And if you want a quiet residential neighborhood, the Landings or Bermuda Riviera are going to be best. Each neighborhood really has its own personality. So, what's the biggest downfall to owning a home on the water? One of the biggest surprises for buyers looking at waterfront homes in Fort Lauderdale isn't insurance, and it isn't maintenance on the house itself. It's truly the seawall. The seawall is what holds the land in place between your backyard and the water, and many of them in Fort Lauderdale were built decades ago. While everything may look perfect during a showing, seawalls can deteriorate over time due to saltwater exposure, boat wakes, and age. When problems start to appear, like cracks, leaning walls, or sinking pavers, the repair costs can be significant. Replacing or repairing a seawall can cost anywhere from tens of thousands to well over $200,000 depending on the size and condition of the wall. That's why experienced waterfront buyers always investigate the seawall before closing, asking when it was last replaced and often bringing a specialist to inspect it. The reality is that the view and the dock might be what sell the home, but the seawall is one of the most important and most expensive components of owning a waterfront property. Definitely something to be aware of. So here's the big picture. Fort Lauderdale is built around boating. Unlike many coastal cities, the canal system here isn't an afterthought. It's a core design feature. That's why so many serious boaters relocate here from the Northeast, the Midwest, and internationally. You can keep your boat at your house. You can boat all year long. You can run to the Bahamas. You can dock at waterfront restaurants. You can even anchor at a sandbar on a Tuesday in January. This lifestyle is rare, but choosing the right neighborhood makes all the difference. So if you're thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale and you're a boater, don't just search waterfront. Keep an eye out for fixed bridges, deep water, ocean access time, canal width, seawall age, dock length, and make sure that that matches up with your lifestyle goals. Because the best boating neighborhood isn't about the biggest stuff. It's about how you want to live. If you want help breaking down specific streets, bridge clearances, boat size capability, or the current waterfront inventory, reach out. Fort Lauderdale is a boating paradise. You just have to dock in the right place. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida and the surrounding cities, then subscribe below so you can be the first to know about our current market in Fort Lauderdale. My name is Hector Valdez. I'm born, raised, and have lived in South Florida my entire life. My team and I love helping people make their move to Fort Lauderdale, whether it's 9 days or 9 months. Feel free to reach out. Our contact information is in the description, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Fort Lauderdale. See you in the next video.